Are you ready with your magic?
Yes, I am. It's in a bottle just waiting to be poured.
The Tyre Kickers, classic car chat with Max and Matt.
Hello there and welcome to the 29th time we've sat down and had a good old moan. Mainly just getting stuff off our chests about classic cars. Talking of which, this episode, it's all about getting your top off.
Yes, the sun has been out, so every car we talk about this time round will be open air. Not fixed, but drophead. Not roof, but ragtop. Today, it's all about the cabriolet.
We'll search out the top convertibles for summertime sunshine action and ask, what's the fastest and most stylish way to get a burnt forehead?
The Tyre Kickers.
But be warned, not all open-air motors are magnificent, so we're giving the drop-top Vauxhall Cavalier the crush or caress treatment. Is it worth saving the 1980s Cabriolet Cav, or is it just a bit too chav?
Plus, we'll have all your comments and corrections ringing in our ears as we drive off into the sun. So drop your top and breathe in those exhaust fumes as we go convertible crazy in episode 29 of the Tyre Kickers.
Driving and arguing since 2024. This is the Tyre Kickers.
So we've had more than 2 unbroken days of sunny sunshine, and being Britain, the whole country is now asking the big question, Max. When will the hosepipe ban start?
No. The big question is, which classic convertible can you buy for that strange feeling of the sun on your face? What's the best way to soak up the rays while driving to work? So this edition of the podcast is the top of the pops.
Right, current reference, that top of the pops. I don't think that's been on the TV for about 20 years. Yeah, it's a good question. Why do we like convertibles so much, Max? I mean, they are wobbly, they're squeaky, they're leaky. They look great with the roof down, but let's be honest, most of the time the roof is up, especially when it's in a garage, and they just look a bit ugly, don't they? But in this country, that is 90% of the time that the roof is up, but we love them. Why do we love them so much?
I don't know, because really from a design point of view, a cabriolet model ruins all the tightly designed lines of the coupe. For evidence, see all Porsche 911 cabriolets, BMW 3 Series, Mercedes C-classes, great coupes, so cabriolets. I mean, how many cabriolets have you had, actually? That's an interesting question. I can't remember.
Well, I've not had that many classic ones. I've had an Alfa Spider, and obviously got Sunbeam Alpine now, but I've had a lot of sort of dailies. I've had probably 3 Mercedes, 2 E-Class cabs, CLK, and I've currently got a BMW 4 Series that I run around with roof problems at the moment. We'll get into that later. I nearly bought, as I've said in previous podcasts, a Stag about 3 times, and I nearly bought a Citroen Diane as well. It's got the roll roof. It rolls back like a sardine tin. For my wife, who was her first car, and she had a thing about it. I went to try and buy her one during lockdown for her 50th birthday. I'd found this car, it'd been restored. I turned up, it'd been restored and then put under a tree for 2 years, and it was awful. So I had to walk away from that. But I am drawn to a convertible though, and I think even though I quite fancy a coupe now as a next classic, I still find myself looking at the convertibles.
You see, I like a good convertible to look at, but when you drive them, they're always a bit disappointing. And the first convertible I had was a Beetle convertible, which was rubbish. It was so wobbly. I thought the doors would just fall off, a bit like the Blues Brothers car when it just came to the end of its life. So I've always had a rule that if you're going to buy a convertible, buy one which has been designed as a convertible to begin with, then hopefully they won't be quite as floppy. So after that Beetle, I had a MGB, rubber bumper MGB convertible, and a Porsche Boxster, both of which weren't too bad, actually. I love the MGB, and the Boxster was then quite quick and sounded good. And then I've just got the Merc SL. But those cars, because they were designed as convertibles, I don't think are quite as wobbly as the others.
Yeah, I mean, I think they got better as the years went on. I mean, my current one's got bracing underneath, and it doesn't scuttle shake too much. But I'm not fussed about. I mean, having said, the roof's up and the roof's down, and you've got this thing about the shapes and the lines. I think most of the time with a convertible, when you want to use it and get pleasure from it, the roof is down and you enjoy it. I think the only time I don't enjoy a convertible is when I'm running it round when it's cloudy and the roof is up. But then I don't enjoy any classic car when it's cloudy. It's a little bit like going on a boat when it's cloudy. It's just a bit rubbish. Whereas as soon as the sun comes out, you forget all that and you enjoy it. So I think convertibles do what they say on the tin. They are fun in the summer, and we do like them. I find myself drawn to them. And actually, the UK is the biggest market for convertibles in the world.
Yeah, we love them, don't you? Which is strange, isn't it?
You know what it is? Because if you live in a hot country like Spain or southern Italy or somewhere like that, actually it's too hot to have the roof down a lot of the time. You want the roof up, especially now when people have got used to air conditioning. They want the roof up and the aircon on. So, us with our kind of like so-so weather, and we should just say, Max and I planned this episode. when we started drafting this episode out, the sun was shining in the sky, wasn't it? And looking out the window now,
it's not.
It's gone back to default cloudiness. But hey, let's press on anyway and imagine the summer is coming, because it is sort of coming. It
might do at some point in the future. Anyway, yeah, you're right. Let's head to the classifieds and find some cars we can suggest for each other. Now, here's my first choice for Matt. Large, cumbersome, wallowy, a bit flash, very high maintenance, and super thirsty. Enough about you, Matt. Here's the car. 1995 Bentley Azure. Now, these are a tank, or more like a battleship of a car. It's the Bentley Continental with the roof chopped off, so it's huge in every way, to be honest. It's just a massive car. This one, I've never seen one in this colour spec before. It's black on black with a black roof, triple black. So it's quite imposing, I suppose. I'm not sure it's a colour I'd choose for a convertible, black and black. But it is a huge car. And we've seen a few of these at auctions and quite like them, haven't we? We think they're quite imposing. And also the good thing about these, based on the Continental, is that they're still relatively cheap. This triple black 95 Bentley Azure, 98,000 miles, is a shade under £50,000. 49,999, sir, for you.
I like them. I like sitting in them. I'm not sure what I'd do with one. It just feels like a golf club pub car.
Well, that describes your life perfectly, doesn't it?
I don't like golf. I like pubs. But
pubs,
like golf.
Yeah, exactly. I think you could do a lot with that, to be honest, because it's a sense of occasion car, isn't it? It's a great sense of occasion. And cabriolets are about waiting for the right moment, whether it's the weather or it's the day off to go and do it. And that's the perfect car to do it. Four up with that, posing around in a Bentley Azure, how fantastic. Plus, you do have the possibility of driving to the south of France. You'd have to have a petrol tanker behind it, but you could do the south of France running that. It's mythical, but we can do it.
It's like a catchphrase. It's like a Brucey catchphrase with you, south of France. Whenever you see a convertible, you're always talking about driving to the bloody south of France. You haven't been to the south of France.
That's what it's about. I took the Boxster to the south of France in the early 2000s and loved it. But again, it was too hot, so the roof was up the whole time.
Do you know what? Here's the thing with these. I think most classic convertibles make you smile and make people smile, and they're quite unpretentious. This still has got a bit of a flash git element to it.
I quite like that, though.
What more? Yeah, I'm saying nothing. Unlike the Silver Shadow that's become fairly everyman, as you say, it's gone through the stage of being a wedding car, and the prices have come down, and now the people you see driving them are a bit younger. This still has got the triple plated pension kind of feel about it. I'm not sure I would go up and start chatting to a driver of one of these. Is that a wrong thing to say? I just think they'd be quite boring. Sorry, you like this, didn't you?
Yeah, I do like it. I just think there's part of me that would just like to drive it just for the sheer hell of it, and also for the feel of how it drove. It's going to drive really nicely. You're not going to get much scuttle shake in a car that weighs about 10 tons. So I think as a convertible drive, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I get it. You might feel a bit self-conscious inside.
Yeah, so a bit too flash for me. So let's bring it back down to earth, Max, with a chrome-bumpered classic. My first pick is a classic British roadster that I was standing next to the other day, and I challenge anyone not to like one. This is a 1972, good year, Mark IV Triumph Spitfire. What do you think of this? This one's in red. It's got, the wheels, but, I think...
I quite like those Wolf rims. They're quite nice. They're aftermarket, but they're kind of period aftermarket.
A Spitfire, though, is just a good, honest classic car, isn't it?
It feels, compared to the Bentley, it feels like driving around in a beer can. It all rattles a bit, and it's a bit shaky and wobbly, and the rearview mirror's shaking, and the doors are popping open. I mean, I know that's a bit of an exaggeration, but Spitfires are a bit wobbly. That's my problem with them. I mean, I do like them for fun, but then as soon as you get involved in kind of like cornering, those kind of things that you do in sports cars, it gets a bit messed up. It's not the greatest handling car in the world, because it doesn't always handle the same as the front axle and the rear. So I don't know. It's not ever been my favourite, to be honest.
Isn't that part of the fun of it? I think, you started with that Bentley, and I would say it's probably more akin to a modern car in the way it handles. This is going to be totally, totally different to your daily driver. You're going to get in this. You've got to concentrate on it. As you say, the back wheels might be coming around into vision before your front ones do. You know, it's going to scuttle shake. It's going to probably leave you after about 20 minutes in it, you know, feeling a bit like you've been through a hairdryer. But that's the fun of it, isn't it? And we haven't mentioned the price actually, 5,995.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's a lot of laughs for like $6,000 because you would enjoy driving it. As long as you're not going that far in it, you could have a good laugh. But I mean, I do like them. I've enjoyed driving them, but it's not something I'd ever want to jump into again for a long period because they're not particularly built very well.
Sorry, that doesn't narrow down most British classic cars, does it? But I think these are another car that can look quite a bit tatty or really nice. There's one on Instagram that I see. I think it's called Johnny's Spitfire or Johnny's Triumph, and he takes some great photos with it. It's in like a powder blue, and it looks fab. I think for a starter classic, these are fantastic, and even not a starter classic, I think you can aspire to a good one. I just think they're honest, they're genuine. I'm not rushing out to buy one, but I just think, for me, if you want to get a classic convertible this summer and have a bit of a laugh, that's the one to get. I think that's totally different to the one before, the Bentley. I think this one is a bit more, this one's going to make you smile a bit more. What else you got?
Okay, here's my next choice for you. Large, cumbersome, wallowy. Oh, sorry, I've done that joke. This is a bit left field, but it's a 1974 Peugeot 304 Cabriolet. Now, these are the 70s cabriolets, which are kind of flat deck cabs. I think they're really pretty. They're not fast. I think it's a 1.3, so it's about 75 horsepower. But it does look really, really stylish. The slight problem with this one, it's popping up on your screen now. It's silver and it's had some work done. And as we know with silver cars, it's very difficult to hide the filler. And if you look just behind the driver's door, you can see the outline of the filler. But £11,000, 70s coolness, 304 convertible, not many around. I think they only made a few hundred right-hand drive ones, and there's only probably a handful left. So I think they're really cool. Plus, inside, they look nice. They've got that kind of 70s Gallic charm.
You know what I say to this? I say, ooh la la, because I think I like this. I've seen these in the flesh. There's one near me that goes to shows around here. And I really, really like these because, again, they're unpretentious, but they've got a bit of Gallic charm to them.
Yeah, I think they're quite a good choice because nobody really knows what they are. And considering it's just based on a Bogo Peugeot, they've come up with a really stylish body to it. Looks fantastic with the roof down. Doesn't look that bad with the roof up, actually. There's a few roof up pictures of it. If you look past the slightly dodgy filler, you've got a kind of brown or a cognac leather interior. You've got that lovely kind of Peugeot lack of detail. There's no kind of like fussiness about the design. And it's going to take you from A to B in perfect comfort. It's not going to be fast, but you not really want to go fast. And it should hold its value, these 304s, because there's so few of them around.
I mean, the nice thing about this actually, Max, as well, is that, you know, it gives you a hobby. Because 2 weeks of the year you're going to be driving it. The other 50 you're going to be looking for spare parts in warehouses in France, because getting hold of trim and bits and pieces for this, I know for a fact, it's a bit of a nightmare.
I'm going to struggle to find another one for you. I think when I was looking on them, there was only two in Car and Classic and one was abroad. So you're going to be in a select club. That's the best thing I can say about that, I suppose.
Moving on from France, let's go south towards Italy. And I was thinking, you know, what classic car would I put on my sort of top list? And I thought, well, Alfa Spider, I can't have one of those because I've had one. And I thought, no, actually, sod it. An Alfa Spider 70s one is the one I'd go for. I had an 80s one, a Series 3 with the rubber bumpers, which are a little bit of an ugly duckling. But the 70s Camtel, I think you and I both like these. So let's throw this up on your screen. 1977, Series 2, blue, right hooker, had a full resto in mid-90s, 96. There's photos and receipts apparently available. And it's 19,950. Take my money.
Boat tail. Boat tail.
Well, you can't, boat tail, the ridiculous prices.
Yeah, but they just look so much nicer, don't they?
Yeah, they do. But I still like the Camtel, and I think it's a really usable. I mean, 20 grand is more than it was a few years ago. They were like 10 to 15. But 20 grand for those. They've got the cowl dials, they've got the drop needle dials, they've got the 70s interior. The interior went a bit after that. But, you know, it's still got that, it's got that essence of the boat tail without the ridiculous price. What's a boat tail? I mean, even in today's market, it's probably 50, 60 grand, isn't it?
Yeah, but the trouble with these Camtails is they are the runner-up. They're the silver medal because they're beautiful at the front, but the interior's gone off a bit because all the metal has been covered up by plastic and it looks very 70s kind of Fiat. And then the Camtail, well, I mean, it was quite a good design, but it's just not as pretty as the boat tail. So the problem with these is, like most cars where there's a better version out there, is you're going to drive around the whole time thinking, oh, I wish I had only got the boat tail.
Yeah. What you're saying is a bit of a body off Baywatch, face off crime watch. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you said it. I mean, it is lovely. It's a lovely colour. I do love that blue, but it's a kind of 70s feel to it, isn't it? They took an original design, which was beautiful, and they made it slightly less beautiful, particularly in the interior. Like the change between the Ferrari 308 and the 328, they just ruined the interior because it got a bit Fiat-y. And it's the same with this Alfa, really. Just the interior's gone off, and it doesn't quite have the magic of the boat tail.
Yeah, well, if you A-B it and you park them next to it, but I don't think I've ever been anywhere near a camtail and gone, oh, that's nice. It's not the boat tail, though, is it? I think it's still it's much.
See, I do that all the time.
Yeah, I know you do.
Every time I see a camtail, I go, it's not a boat tail. I got one less now because I've slagged off this Alfa Romeo Spider.
I think this is good. I mean, I say, having had the 80s one, it did go a bit plasticky. This one has got that feel. And I think when you sit in the seat, you've got that domed steering wheel, wooden steering wheel, got the two cowl dials with the drop needles in. I just think it gives you everything you want. I think a camtail, I like a camtail. I think it's really, really nice. The Duetto, yes, okay, that's the museum-y one. That looks great. But, that's not really accessible for most of us, and if you've got it as well, you're then into that, like the argument we've had before, how much is too much? Are you going to baby it a little bit? Oh, I can't take it out because there's actually 60 grand.
But the argument about this one is that it's not enough because you always know there's that boat tail out there. And I think the boat tail is such a gorgeous car.
It's not. That's
that you
rubbish.
Can't get past it. That's the problem with these camtails.
That's nonsense. That's a bit like saying, the SL's not great because you know that the Pagoda's out there. I mean, it's. No, but
that's. Yeah. Yeah, there is that. Yeah,
it's not. No, I think this is great, and I think actually 20 grand. I did watch values of these going up, and I thought it was a bit strong. But actually, I think that 20 grand at the moment, obviously the prices have softened on that because I think they did go north of that. I think that's definitely worth a look. What else you got?
Right, here's my third and final chance to get you into a cabriolet. I'll admit I've got absolutely no chance with this one as it's a modern classic, but this is a manual convertible with a great engine. It goes, sounds and handles and stops really well. I give you a 2004 E46 BMW M3 Cabrio. It's a BMW M3, so it's going to go like stink. And also, it looks pretty good, these E46s.
No. Where are you going with this? This is Pimp My Ride. It's been pimped. It's been lowered. It's grey with red seats. It looks like it's on its way to the retail park to go and get a Nando's in the cinema and do some burnouts. What is this doing on a classic car show?
This is a classic. It's an M3. E46 M3s are classic cars.
Not the one I'm looking at. This looks like a bit of a wide boys special. Nah.
Yeah, but I get. Yeah, absolutely. They were a bit wide boy, and just like the Bentley had its own kind of connotations, this had its own connotations that you were probably escaping from some kind of armed robbery. However, you'd be escaping in a really nicely handling car. It's got a great gearbox, it's got relatively good brakes for a BMW, and it handles really well, and it's a convertible. So you could use this as your daily, which you couldn't say about all the others so far, and get the top down all the time and still be stylish.
I'm not seeing this at a classic car show, Max. I'm seeing this doing donuts.
You're just going to the wrong shows then. Go to these classic shows for M3s.
My final one, MGA Roadster. We've talked about these 1959 MGA Roadster, a classic as far as I'm concerned. This one is a beauty. 1600 Mark 1, cream, that kind of old English white kind of look on steel wheels with tasteful red leather seats. Not like the last one. We both like these, so there's not much of an argument there. This one's in an auction at the moment. It's currently got bids of it. What's the bids at the moment? 11 grand? What's not to like?
Yeah, steel wheels, red leather interior.
Steel wheels.
No, this is what I'm saying. I love them. I mean, the steel wheels for me is because I prefer them to the wires because it's a bit more of a driver's car then. I think this is really nice. Annoyingly, you've hit upon a really good car which doesn't really have any weaknesses. I mean, the MGA, it is a bit old to drive. I mean, there's, we're talking about the Spitfire and that being a bit old to drive. The MGA is a little bit older and rougher, but it's a lot more stylish, I think. And this is a strange one. It was a Texas one that's been imported back to this country and turned into right-hand drive. So it's not got the best history, you'd argue, but it's still an amazing colour, isn't it? Look at that kind of, is that kind of old English cream? What's the actual title of that?
I think it's like old English white with a red interior. Right. It kind of looks like an ice cream, and I like that. I think that's really good. I think for it's got obviously no side windows and all sorts of stuff, but stuff it. I don't care. if it rains, don't take it out. Leave it in your garage.
You and I have been edging towards MGAs now for about 4 or 5 episodes, haven't we? We've kind of been sidling over to them and looking at them.
We're a year older than when we started. We started getting attracted to MGAs.
You can run the finger of your driving glove along the side, can't you? And think, oh, yeah, I'm starting to appreciate these a bit more. I think, that is a good choice, to be honest. That is a great roadster. And it's always going to look stylish. And it's style on a budget, isn't it? It's XK120 style for, or so far, £11,000. But you can get them anywhere between sort of £14,000 to £20,000.
Price has definitely softened. So look, out of the ones we've got there, because that's not the whole gamut of convertibles. These are just sort of picks that we fancy at the moment. You picked a Bentley Azure, you picked a Peugeot 304, you picked a BMW E46 M3 that looked like it was off to do burnout somewhere. Out of those three, pick one.
I think I'd probably have to have the Azure just for the biggest laugh when you turned up in it.
I would probably go for it's a toss up between the MGA and the Alpha. I think, having had an Alpha before, going to go for that camtail one. That Alpha.
Oh no,
Alpha 1977.
MGA. MGA is much more stylish.
Any of these are going to get you a really nice burnt forehead, aren't they, and a bad back, which is what we're looking for here.
Now, you may have seen our Tyre Kickers Instagram page a couple of weeks ago. I took Ewing 4, my Merc SL, to the Classic Motor Hub in the Cotswolds to see the Coffee and Classics turnout, and was really taken with 2 Lancia Flaminias, both the GT touring model. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know much about these, but check them out, because here's a picture of one for sale at the moment, and of course, we're going topless in this episode. So it's a 1967 Flaminia touring convertible 3C 2.8. Big mouthful, but so mouth-watering. Matt, will you just have a look at this? The Flaminia is just so gorgeous.
That is pretty, isn't it? I mean, it's like almost like a 60s Ferrari look to it. It's long. It's a dark kind of like a bottle green. It's darker than that. It's like a sort of sagey, darky green with beautiful red leather seats. I mean, this whole episode's been brought to you with red leather seats, but it looks 60s Italian classic roadster. It's in the same sort of vein, as I say, as an old Ferrari and old Alpha. The interior is nice and classic and clean, and 2 big dials, wood 3-spoke steering wheel. As I say, there's beautifully red trimmed interior door cards. It just looks beautiful, doesn't it?
It's gorgeous. Now, the Flaminia took on Aston Martin's DB5. And if you think about how gorgeous the DB5 is, I think the Flaminia is better looking. Have a look at them online. They were Lancia's flagship between 57 and 70. They made saloons, coupes, cabriolets, and also stretch limo versions for visiting royalty. Now, they had the V6 engine triple carb, so they weren't that quick, to be honest, but they performed quite nicely and they sounded quite good. They made 21 right-hand drives of these convertibles, but they are so pretty. I mean, the coupe I was looking at, I was amazed because I haven't seen one in the flesh for years, and there were 2 of them there. That's why I was so interested in it. But this convertible, it's just absolutely gorgeous. This one's for sale at Gallery Aldering. Have I pronounced that right? Aldering.
Aldering, yeah.
Aldering,
it's in the Netherlands, isn't it?
That's right. It's a great site. If you ever have half an hour to lose, go and have a look at that garage and just thumb through the cars. But this is drop dead gorgeous. I can't think of a more beautiful 1960s coupe than this, really.
Well, while you were doing that, I was trying to get into a classic car meet, and here's a first, Max. I got turned away from one. Not because of my fashion or my car.
Can't come in wearing that, sir.
Well, no, not for being too stylish for it.
No chance of that.
It was because it was full.
Right.
It's a big classic car meet near me. It happens once a month. It's on a big field, 150 cars or something. But it was too full. 10 minutes, 15 minutes after the thing started, they shut the gates. There was chaos. There were classic cars driving everywhere. It's sort of in the countryside, so there's nowhere else to go apart from this place. There was like a second car show going on around the back roads. There was all these displaced cars that had nowhere, to go. It was a bad omen because we pulled up, and I wasn't in my old car actually. But if I had been, I'd have kind of been effing and blinded a bit, because what is the one thing you don't want to see in your old car? A traffic jam. And there was a big traffic jam to get into this place. I thought, that's unusual, because normally you pull up and you go straight in. But there was loads of cars. There was a broken down Citroen CX, which wasn't a good omen to start with. And they were just literally turning people away. Now, this is good and bad, I think. One, I think there was a lot of people moaning afterwards saying this wasn't very well managed. Are the people going to go back after this? And also, you know what happens at these shows? After about an hour, people get bored and they leave. And they were leaving, but they were still turning people away. So that's the bad thing. The good thing at this, I think it shows that there is a really strong appetite for classic cars. As I say, there was 150 cars or so in there. And there was probably no exaggeration, another sort of 60 to 100 cars driving around.
Do you know, exactly the same thing happened to me when I was at the Classic Motor Hub, because I'd booked a ticket and turned up at about 10:30 and they said, sorry, sir, there's no parking. You'll have to park on the verge. And this is a kind of country lane. And I said, well, sorry, mate, I don't want to park on the verge. I'm not very happy about doing that with all these tractors running up and down it. So luckily, a car emerged from the car park. Like you said, people don't stay that long. And I got a space. But even so, when I left, there must have been about 30 or 40 cars parked on the verge, and some of them were quite expensive. And it is a bit of a risk, isn't it? Because if you sell a ticket to an event, you kind of think, well, I should get parking.
Looking at it glass half full, it's good that we're talking about two events that are oversubscribed. And, given that we've sort of talked in previous episodes about, classic cars, are they going to last, this, that, and the other, there's a huge appetite for them. So that's good. Anyway, the other thing, ask me about my Sunbeam Alpine, how that's going.
Well, I can kind of guess it's going badly, isn't it?
Well, I haven't
seen any pictures of it yet. So
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it since October.
October?
It's been in storage. I was supposed to be running it up and running it out, and it never happened. Work's been so busy.
You said that for the last 4 episodes now, so something's going to happen at some point.
I know.
You need to get that car out before the next October.
I know. I've booked a service for it. I've got the bits for it, so I do have a plan. It's frustrating because we just have had sort of 7 to 10 days of really nice weather, and I've just thought, I want to be in the car, and I see people out in their cars. It's frustrating. I'm a bit late getting to it this year, but I will get to it. The thing I've got to keep me going is my daily car is convertible. So while it's been sunny, I've been thought, oh great, that's get the roof down on that and enjoy that. However, just in time for the good weather, that's decided to throw a hissy fit, and the roof's not working on that. So,
okay, what is it? I can't remember.
The car is a BMW 4 Series, and anybody who's got a convertible car knows this. Well, one with a convertible daily car, you put up with all the sort of winter stuff because when the weather comes around, you're going to be smiling because you're going to be popping that roof down and enjoying it. However, what generally happens is these cars are all controlled, especially modern ones, are controlled by about 8 or 10 micro switches, and it only takes one of them not to work and the car starts flipping out. It's exactly what's happened to mine. Phone up to book it. Oh, I can't see it for a month. So hopefully I'll get it sorted. But,
have you tried spraying some WD-40 into the roof at any point where you can get a nozzle in, just spray it on and see what happens?
This is Max's quality repairs we're talking about here. Is it? Other things I've been doing, Max, I was watching Anglia car auctions on YouTube last weekend. They've since COVID's happened, they've really put a lot of effort into production. They've got drones flying, they've got multi-camera. So it's a really good auction to watch, actually.
Okay, I've seen that.
So I whacked it up on the big TV in the kitchen, and I just had it on, for half an hour or so. My sort of teenage son sort of walked through with the football in hand and went, "Why are you watching this?"
Oh, Dad, you're so boring.
Well, he said it's just a guy saying the price over and over again. It's like, it's an auction.
Yeah,
that's kind of how they work.
That's a definition.
Some other good things though that I've been doing. I had a really, really good day a couple of days ago with the TR register at their track day at Castle Combe, which was racing TRs round. And that was brilliant. This was the idea of listener Kevin Bryant and the TR register. He sent a comment in saying, why just drive your car to a show or the pub when you can gun it around the track and really enjoy it? So we took him up on that. And I went down and I spent the day talking to loads of TR owners who were there to run their cars around the track and see what they and their cars were capable of. I think the running theme was that it was more about the driver than the car. So that was really good. We've got a special episode coming out. But if you want to get a little sneaky preview of what it was like, this is me going around the track with Kevin at about 80.
Brake, and into the corner. Mr. Double-hander into this corner. You can hear the squeal. The tyres are warmed up now. A little bit of back end slide out. Oh, holding on as we go around this next corner. Really starting to push it a bit more now. Braking into the corner and leaning again. You can feel the car really leaning.
Now, I don't know if you've seen a TR3 Max, but they're not the biggest cars in the world, and this one felt like it was on 2 wheels.
And also, if I was a physics teacher, I think I would describe you as carrying some mass, for example. And a TR3 isn't particularly that strong a car. So with you in the passenger seat, did it make 40 miles an hour?
We were doing 90 down the straights in it. I mean,
Really?
Kevin, actually, hats off to Kevin. He's a great driver. He does this a lot, and he knows his car and he knows how to drive. In a classic car, you really, really feel it. You are feeling that lean, and you're feeling it's really, really in your face. So really, really interesting. It's going to make a great episode. It's coming out on the 25th of April. So keep your eye out for that. Really, really good. And it's a really interesting concept as well, taking your car down the track. There was different types of people there, Max. There was the people with the roll cages in, and there were people who brought stuff on trailers. But the majority of people just turned up in their car and they drove there. I mean, I went around the track with a guy called Mike in his TR6, and he'd driven it from, off the top of my head, where did he come from? Like Northampton, that sort of way, Kettering maybe. Driven there, stayed in a pub, made a couple of days of it, gone out on the track, big smile on his face, and he was going to drive it home. And he said, "This is why I bought a classic car."
Do you know, it's a really interesting thing to do, isn't it? Because with modern cars, when you take them on the track, it's expensive because they're so heavy, they burn brakes and burn tyres. But with classics, one, the bits are a bit cheaper, and two, they're a bit lighter, so they don't go through it as much as they do on modern. So it's a great choice of car, isn't it? Triumphs, because they're relatively easy to fix. I have just spent, 5 minutes earlier in this episode slagging off Spitfires, but actually a Spitfire would be quite a good track car.
Yeah, so that's coming out 25th of April. And if you do have any ideas for bonus episodes, do give us a shout. If you're doing something with your club or you've spotted something or something near you, let us know, because we're always interested.
Also, just a quick spot from the Pistonheads news pages. Now, remember Frontline MG, who resto-mod MGBs? Well, they're doing the same, but to an MGA. Now, MGAs, as we've seen, are getting cheaper at the auction as the demographic moves on. But Matt, have a look at this. So this is Frontline's take on the MGA. Now, we'll get to the price at the end, because obviously there's a kick in the pants to this one. Yeah. But they've smoothed it out. They've got rid of the indicators. They've basically just shrunk all the bits that are big and loud and the chrome, and they've made everything look sexy and smooth. It's got the Ford Duratec 2 litre or the 2.5, which is either, get this, 228 horsepower or 300 horsepower, and it weighs 815 kilograms. My goodness, and it does 155 miles an hour. Now, you would be brave to do that in an MGA. What a fantastic looking car. The downside is the cost starts at £120,000. That's a real shame.
This looks so nice. This is like something out of like GQ magazine, because it's in this super, super nice dark green. As you say, they've smoothed it out. The guy driving it's got a velvet jacket on and cool shades. It looks like something like a watch or aftershave commercial kind of images, if you can get that in your head. As Max says, it's sort of, the cabin is trimmed around the edges in this tan leather. It looks fantastic. It's kind of what I think I look like, or I imagine I look like when I'm driving my classic car, but actually I'm in a sort of scruffy old t-shirt and a pair of shorts and a pair of deck shoes. So I'm not quite stylish, but in my head, this is what I'd like to look at.
Yeah, it's not. Get that out of your head. You don't look anything like that at all. I mean, first of all, that car's being driven and yours is still in storage. It's April and your car's still in storage. What are you doing? Get it out.
Yeah, I know, but I want to look like that. This is what I imagine.
You're not. It's never going to happen.
Those seats, they're tan leather, but they're kind of, how would you describe it? They're not sort of mottled.
It is like a kind of, it looks like a cigar, doesn't it? It's kind of like that cigar texture to it. It looks tremendous. I love every single thing about that car,
apart from the price.
Yeah.
And also, I'll just pick this issue up with you. What engine's in it, Max? In this MGA?
It is the Duratec from Ford. Yeah.
Well,
it's a resto mod.
I thought you didn't approve of modern engines.
I don't really, but it just looks so nice. It just looks amazing. But no, I don't really approve in it, to be honest. But then, the MGA engine, apart from the twin cam, it is a bit wheezy and slow. But again, if you want to spend 15 to 20,000 on it, you're spending, almost, just over 10% of the price of that, and you're still getting an MGA.
I think if you can find something that's got this look, it's another, as you say, it's another tick for the MGA, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are a car, I think, that's reached the bottom of their depreciation curve all over again, and it's time to pile in and get them because they're great.
Now, talking just finally of good-looking things, did you see our AI models on?
Sadly, yes,
on Instagram. Yeah. Now, it's a bit scary what AI can do. I sent.
Well, can I just check? Did you ask AI to knock a couple of pounds off yours? Because you knocked about 2 foot off mine. I know this is a current joke, but I ended up looking like Ronnie Corbett.
I sent the one to you, and you said, "Oh, that's all right. Doesn't look anything like me." I thought it does look like me.
Doesn't look anything like me. Of course it does.
I'm currently working on a version 2 of it at the moment. Well, you get eagle eyes. We'll have eagle eyes for classic cars.
Right, great.
And then stretchy legs and arms to get in and out of the MGA. And then your one, what you do, I don't even remember these, the Actionmen had this. You pulled the string out.
Oh, and it moaned.
Yeah, yours is going to moan.
That's me.
You can hear the moaning.
Oh, it's not got the right engine.
Yeah, that's right. This is a trend, by the way. Go and have a look on our Instagram. This is a trend with ChatGPT. And you basically put into ChatGPT a prompt which kind of says, you attach a photo and you say, make it look like this, give them these accessories, and it builds an action figure to you. Have a look on ours. I used to say, if you've not seen Max, that's kind of what he looks like. And mine is obviously not as good as what you're saying. Is it's not as good as I look at in real life.
No, it just seems to be about 5 stone lighter. But anyway, I don't want to say that.
Bloody cheek! Right, it's your birthday coming up soon. You're getting
nothing. Nada.
Well, you're listening to Tyre Kickers episode 29, our Get Your Top Off special, and time to free up some space on our crowded roads by sending some unloved convertible classics to the crusher. Usually, Max and I violently disagree on what should and shouldn't be sent to the scrappy. But I think, Max, this time I don't think we will.
I think you're right. This car is the closest thing to a skip on wheels you will ever get. It even looks like a skip and has a kind of skip colour. I don't think we'll get much online hate from crushing this one. In fact, I'd forgotten it ever existed.
Yes, that's right. It's Max's 1987 300 Mercedes SL in red. So let's start the crusher up. No, actually, put you out your misery. Oh, dear, I can't say these words. It's a 1986 Vauxhall Cavalier 1.8 Cabrio. Why? And this one isn't pretty in pink, Max. It's grotty in gold. Have a look at this.
Oh, it's got gold. It's got rust down the sides. It just looks like it's been left out in the rain for the best part of, 5 years with the top down. I mean, these Cavaliers, as Retmobiles, they were all right. And this has got the 1.8 from the SRI, but oh, God, it's awful.
This is one of those ones, a bit like those old Cortina, Crayford Cortinas. It looks like it's had an axle grinder to it, doesn't it? And they've literally just ground off the roof and then stuck a really ugly pram roof in on the back. And I think that's probably what happened. Were these official cars or were these...
No, these were factory cars. These were factory cars. Yeah, they were offered. They were actually top spec because they had the 1.8 engine in it, and they had the various bits. If you can actually get to any interior pictures, the interior is the top spec Cavalier interior. Hang on, let me go through.
I had an Astra back in the day. It's going to be a flashback.
Well, you might recognise these velour seats then because they're the velour sports seats.
I'm clicking. I'm trying to get to the.
You'll get to it.
Red velour seats.
Red velour, horrid. And actually, it had the rev counter, which was an extra on some of those Cavaliers, and it had the 5-speed gearbox. And yeah, so it was kind of top spec, but God, what an awful car.
So dull, isn't it? I think if it's one of those ones, I mean, looking at the interior, that was the Astra. If you had an Astra in the 90s, you had a Cavalier in the 90s, you recognise this interior straight away. It's the one with the two, it's just got the bland black slab that's sort of angled out at you with the clock on it. It's just dull. The thing about convertibles that makes them appealing is that when you roll the roof back, they become a different car and they become a lot more exciting and interesting. This is just going to still stay dull. It's just going to have more sun on it.
Oh, soz, mate, still a Cavalier.
I think it's the sort of thing. Can you imagine this coming to a show? I kind of, they say dogs look like their owners. I kind of imagine what the owner's going to look like. It just looks really grim.
I've got some bad news because it sold for £1,460. But good news here is that I've found another one. Now, here's the definition of optimism. The owner of this Cavalier convertible has put a steering lock on it. Who on earth is going to nick this? Have a look at that. So this is
They probably nick the steering lock.
This is leave the Cavalier behind. This is a 1986 Cavalier two-door convertible.
Oh, it's nicer.
It's less rusty. It's not a nicer car, is it? It's still pretty awful. And there's some pictures of the top down there. What an awful car. Who
goes, do you know what? Oh, the sun's out. I really would like a Cavalier. It's not being snobby about the price of it or anything. It's just rubbish. You could get a much nicer, more stylish, convertible. Just an ugly, frumpy car. And when they've cut the roof off and stuck this vinyl roof on, it's not made it sexier, is it? It's made it uglier.
Even funnier than the steering lock is the price. £5,250 for a Cavalier convertible. You've got to be joking.
Does that include a full tank of petrol?
I don't know. You'd have to, as a getaway, to get away from it. Yeah. Now, I don't think there's going to be much argument here about crushing the Cavalier convertible. So I thought we'd also have a look at some other terrible topless cars. So, for example, would you like this one, which is just going to pop on your screen now, the
Ugh,
Rover
no.
216i Cabrio. This is a 1996 Rover, so it's the 200 model, but the Cabrio with a great big hulking bar over the roof as a kind of T-top. Wow. I mean, these Rovers were ugly anyway, just as normal cars. As Cabrios, that is awful.
That's the same thing, though. I mean, it's bright red, but it just looks like a Rover 216 that somebody sliced the roof off. It doesn't, and I know, does that sound an odd thing to say? Because most convertibles are. There's no thought being given to the lines of it, and they say there's a horrible T-bar in it, or is it a T-bar, or is it just a brace? It's just a brace, isn't it? The roof's not going down flat in the car, so you've got none of those nice sort of lines. The swage lines eye doesn't follow down the car. It gets there, and then there's this horrible sort of, oh yeah, we need to do something with the roof. Let's just chuck a tarp over it. So it looks like both of these cars look like they've got a dead body sitting on the boot, don't they, with a bit of tarp over them, and just ugly. And they're not pretty cars. They're not. The 216 and the Cavalier are just blocky, slabby cars. They don't look sporty at all.
This is the problem the designers of these cars had, isn't it? Because they had a coupe and they had a saloon. And basically, they had to make it into a convertible and hide the hood, which was massive in those days in the 1990s and 1980s. So the front of the car is quite low, but the back of it is about 1 foot, 2 foot higher than the rest of the car. So it just ends up looking like a really bad door wedge.
This is one of these cars where, when you get chatting to an owner, they go, oh, there's not many of these. They didn't make many. No, I can see why. Yeah, I can see why. Because they're crap, and they look rubbish, and they don't look sporty. They look frumpy. They all look the same. They just look like somebody's gone, let's chop the roof off. And I think the Cavalier and that's similar. So chuck it in the skip, chuck it in the crusher.
Can we do a job lot at the scrapyard? Would they take a third car? Because this one is fantastic. Remember the Metro convertible? Ping, it's on your screen now. This is 1996 Rover Metro Kensington convertible. Ooh. And I'm pretty sure none of these ever made it to Kensington because this one is absolutely minging. I mean, it's got exactly the same problem, is that they just cut the roof off and then thought, where do we try and store this massive, massive convertible hood? Oh, I know. Let's just build up the back and shove it in a crevice there. And can you see the boot? The boot doesn't fit on the back of the car at all. It's like a completely separate piece from a separate car, like a cut and shut. It is awful. Loads of these sort of 80s and 90s convertibles, the technology was not around to make them half decent. So they just made them rubbish and hoped they'd sell. And mysteriously, somebody must have bought this one.
It's silver with a sort of a burgundy roof. I think if you had the roof down on this and you parked it somewhere, people would start putting old bits of furniture in it. I think they think free skip.
I've just noticed this. It's got one of those plastic rear windows. So it's not even got a glass rear window. It's that kind of like flimsy plastic. So firstly, everybody would have nicked anything inside it. For every day of its life, it would have been robbed. And secondly, it just was, it's falling apart in front of our eyes. Those 1990s Metros were never particularly well built. But this is just horrendous. I'd actually forgotten they existed because they're so bad, I must have erased them from my memory.
So let's fire up the crusher and let's pop the 1996 Rover Metro Cabriolet in, the Rover 216 Cabriolet, the Vauxhall Cavalier in brown with the crook lock, and the Vauxhall Cavalier, there's two actually. Let's put it in, let's crush it, and let's make a nicer convertible.
Or let's take the 50 quid that all that scrap makes and take it down the pub.
So that is it. The 80s Cavalier finished us off. It proved too much, so we're off to have a pint of Hofmeister.
Next week is our 30th episode, so we're having a party. Bring along some sausage rolls and the family Kodak Instamatic.
And some jelly and cake, or more usefully for classic car fans, some jump leads. We also promised not to look back too heavily on our last 30 episodes with the heavy sigh of remorse that we haven't won any awards. Well, not yet anyway.
We will, however, discuss our fantasy garage. What would we drive if we did decent jobs that paid more than the minimum wage?
So see you for the Bish Bosh Big Bash in the next episode. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Don't forget, you can find us at the Tyre Kickers UK on Instagram and the Tyre Kickers on Facebook.
Oh, that was exhausting.
Do you know some days I just can't read out loud, and today was one of those days?